Hello, I'm Taniqua Broughton.
I'm Scott Koenig.
My name is Dave Brown. I'm the CEO of Valley Leadership.
Scottsdale Leadership.
Tempe Leadership.
Greater Tucson Leadership.
We are a part of the Racial Justice Collaborative.
We are made up of 7 separate leadership organizations.
We used to meet once a month to discuss topics like diversity, equity, inclusion, or DEI.
It used to be a lunch thing, something we all had different ideas and approaches on.
After the death of George Floyd and the reigniting of the Black Lives Matter movement, we decided equity work needed to take a priority.
It came to light, I think, that we need to do better as a country to address some of the systemic issues that are really a part of how we govern our community and our culture.
We decided that we would have a cohesive curriculum.
An approach we could all unify behind.
All being educated together as a community of leaders and learners.
We launched the Racial Justice Curriculum.
In our efforts to educate individuals on how to tackle racial bias,
How to tackle bias.
Racial bias that disproportionately impacts Black, Latino, Asian, Native, and Indigenous communities in Arizona.
We wanted to have a shared language for discussing race, equity, and inclusive practices.
We can't assume that everybody understands the definition, like unconscious bias, microaggressions, assumptions, stereotypes, systemic racism, institutional discrimination.
Creating that shared language that is taught consistently is going to help us expedite those crucial conversations.
We want them to be able to say, I understand what you are experiencing because we've had shared language that was taught to us through this particular curriculum.
first is to acknowledge structural and systematic racism exists.
To combine workshop and training efforts, we use collaborative activities, group discussions, and a series of important concepts.
Learning about and addressing structural racism is uncomfortable.
It requires self-awareness, self-reflection.
Unlearning the biases that we've grown up with.
To understand our history is to move with a clearer path forward.
Being aware of your unconscious biases and trying to be more empathetic about what others are feeling, the better at the problem solving that you'll be as a leader.
You as a leader have to meet your team where they are. How can you understand what my story is if it's only through the lens of stereotypes and assumptions?
Socially just communities require structural transformation.
They build power for those who are disproportionately marginalized and are most impacted by structural racism.
To live in a just and joy-filled world, we must all learn together.
Learn together.
Together.
Leaders must understand one another.
To transform our communities for the greater good.
For the greater good.
For the greater good.
The understanding of racial justice, racial equity, the lens of just seeing lives differently makes us a better Arizona.